The Two Propositions of AMSWAY. A proposition is an idea or a concept which is offered for discussion. For AMSWAY's purposes, we must agree on two basic propositions in order for us to have any discussion of spirituality. Proposition number 1. God is omnipresent, present everywhere in the universe at all times, absent nowhere at any time. Proposition number 2. We, spirit humans, are eternally aware of being aware, not as the body we see in the mirror, nor the human self-identity that we have given a name like John, Mary, or Sue, but as the witness of what we see in the mirror. AMSWAY is based on these two propositions. I believe any discussion or thoughts on spiritual concepts must be grounded in and harmonized with these two propositions. Once we agree on these two propositions, then any thought or concept which cannot harmonize with these two propositions must be invalid, regardless of how attached we are to the thought or the concept. For example, proposition number 1. If we accept that God is omnipresent, then it is logical that there is nothing but God, and expressions, manifestations, or materializations of God within God. You cannot have an omnipresent God and the same God be absent from any place at any time. You cannot have it both ways. One of the hardest propositions for us to accept, wherever it leads us, is the omnipresence of God. Where does this leave our sense of individual self? If there is nothing but God, then what are we? God? We draw away from what seems like such an absurd possibility. We cannot be God. We are too small, too weak, too fragile. If we are God, then how could there have been any of the Holocausts that have been recorded time and time again in history? If we are God, then why did so many of us gods allow themselves to be marched into the gas chambers of Hitler's final solution? We cannot be God. Only God can be God. However, if God is omnipresent, then what else are we but God? You have many cells which compose your body. Each cell is you, but no one cell is the entire you. The body of God is the same. The body of God has many cells. Each of the cells of God's body is God, but no one cell is the entire God. Since you are a cell of the omnipresent body of God, you are God. But you are not the whole body that we call God. Even though this might seem difficult to accept, once we accept the proposition that God is omnipresent, then what other logical conclusion can exist? Now, how about proposition number 2? We are eternally aware of being aware. How can this be when what we think we are dies and returns to the dust of the earth? Is there a spirit that lives on, and someday we will arise from our earthly grave and spiritually be aware that we are no longer dead? The problem here is we think we are what we see in the mirror. We think we are what we think we are. We hurt our toe, and we think this proves that at least part of us is the toe we just hurt. After all, we feel the pain, don't we? Well, we do seem to experience the pain. I run into a sharp object, and it definitely feels painful. However, does this mean that we are what feels the pain? If your toe hurts, the part of your awareness that knows the toe hurts does not hurt. Your awareness of the painful toe does not hurt. We feel the toe through the body, and it is a painful feeling to your body. But the part of us that is the witness of the painful toe does not feel the pain. What is eternally aware is our awareness of being aware of being aware. If you have ever been drunk and fallen to the floor, while you were falling to the floor, you were very aware that you were falling. But you could not do anything to stop the fall. However, you who were witnessing your body falling to the floor were not drunk. Only your body was drunk, and you were witnessing the falling and the lack of control of the falling through a drunk body and mind. What is eternally aware is our awareness of being aware of being aware. Not as our human persona, our human self-identity, but as the witness looking out at the world through the body. What we call our spirit or our soul is really us. We do not have a soul. We are the soul that has a body. Do we agree on these two propositions of AMSWAY? Then let us share this most incredible journey we find ourselves on. If we share just one thing with each other that helps the other in his or her spiritual journey, then we have shared a most divine gift, a most precious gift. I look forward to hearing from you and sharing together.